Hi, my name is Jackie Schuster. I am 18 years old. I go to LD Monte High School in Visalia, and my film is Unhoused in a Pandemic. I was inspired to make this documentary because Visalia has always had a large issue with there being people experiencing homelessness in our area. We like to, point fingers at like Fresno and be like, oh, well, like it's their fault. Like, they've got more homeless people. And, maybe Fresno does. Fresno's a larger city than us, so it makes sense. But Visalia and Tulare County, we have a large problem with how many individuals experiencing homelessness we have. There was an article a few weeks ago that came out, and they had just done some sweeps along the 198. They call them sweeps, but they take all the people who are like living along that area and they take their belongings and they throw them in the trash, and then they just kick them out of there. And so this was happening along the 198, one of our highways in town. And our mayor said, it's an eyesore. He didn't say, this is how we're going to fix the problem. This is what we want to do to help these citizens who, need our help. He said, it's an eyesore, so we're getting rid of it. And one of the biggest barriers to solving, the issue of homelessness is the lack of education. So many people are like, oh, well, everyone who's homeless is on drugs, or it's their fault that they didn't budget their money well enough, or, they're so quick to not understand and to point fingers and victim blame. And so I feel like telling stories like this and, giving education on how things actually affect homeless people is just putting us one step closer to maybe fixing this issue. I hope people take away from my film the fact that they can do something to help. I know it's really easy to, see all these issues going on and turn on the news and be really discouraged by all the negative things that we see, but it's so much easier to help than people would expect. Just educating yourself on what these issues are and what the cause is. Something as simple as, maybe working at a soup kitchen sometimes when you have free time and handing out meals. But the biggest thing is working with your local politicians and calling on them to do better and to help out those in their community that they're supposed to be serving. So I hope people watch my documentary and they take away the fact that they can do something, and they should, because their help is so much more valuable than they realize. My name is Jackie Schuster. This is my film, Unhoused in a Pandemic, and I hope you enjoy it. When the COVID-19 pandemic started, we didn't realize how much our lives would be affected. But while we sat inside waiting for life to return to normal, people experiencing homelessness felt more unease and uncertainty than ever before. The city of Visalia likes to cover our eyes and hope that our problems will go away on their own. But this problem has been here for years, and the COVID-19 pandemic proved that it's not going away anytime soon if we don't do anything about it.
With the issues that the pandemic created, there's a couple of things. Number one was just their own health concerns, because there are quite a few individuals who are on the street that are older and they have underlying health conditions. The other real issue, though, is the contradiction of messages that individuals have received. Early on in the pandemic, it seemed that individuals on the street were getting the message to just stay put where they were, to stay in these little pods that they had created, which would reduce their exposure to other individuals who might have been exposed to the virus. And so they felt really comfortable just staying put, and that meant that there were quite a few of these pods, or these family groups in a sense, out on the river and in other pockets in Visalia. And then all of a sudden that message changed, and they started disrupting those groups and moving them out. So that was an issue. And it took the city while too, in the early days of the pandemic, to recognize the need for sanitation. Everybody's talking about washing your hands, wearing a mask. Well, where were these individuals who are on the street supposed to do that if they didn't have access to a bathroom, to a place to wash their hands? Because many of the public restrooms in the city have been shut down for years. And that sanitation issue is a constant problem. Fortunately, the city took some of their FEMA money and did put out stations for a while, but they've all been picked up now, and we're just now coming towards a sense of normalcy, but they've been out without those sanitation stations for many months now. Local government, they do have a role to play. And that's one thing we've struggled with for several years, that they haven't seen this as part of their responsibility. The city is now beginning to make some small changes, but there needs to be more of that. I know that individuals on the street appreciate a handout or a sandwich or a hamburger, and the groups that go out to the river or to the other encampment areas and provide a hot meal, those are great, and those are really important because that helps them survive one more day. But where people need to do the most work is on policy, and getting their local government to realize that these individuals pay taxes. Every time they go to the store and buy cigarettes, they're paying taxes. They buy, something to eat, they're paying taxes. They deserve the same amount of respect as anybody else who pays taxes. And cities need to make sure they're taking these individuals into account, allowing individuals who are on the streets to find that care and compassion is so important.